If you'd have told me 2 months ago in September, the beginning of September, that the Los Angeles Rams and the New Orleans Saints would both have losing records by the time they face each other in week 11, I would look at you crazy, look at you funny, because at the time, ain't no way in the world I thought that was possible. But yet, here we are. Both of these teams have losing records. Out of all the teams, all the upper echelon teams in the National Football League, the LA Rams and the New Orleans Saints are where they are right now. The Rams are the defending Super Bowl champions. They won last year's Super Bowl, after previous attempts, and you know why. They got there in 2018 because of the no call. Just keeping it real, because of that call that should have happened. That call that should have been made. They've been constantly, trying to build that roster to where it can compete for a Super Bowl and win one. And last year they did it. However, for this game, this is the first game that the Rams have been, the first time that the Rams have been to the Superdome since that no call in 2018. This is the first time. The man culprit, Nicole Bradley, Nicole Roby, I can't forget, I forgot the dude's name. Coleman, Bradley, Nicole Roby, I forgot the guy's name, but he committed that penalty. He's no longer with the team. But there is no buzz for this game at all. When I saw this game, I saw that the Rams was on the Saints' schedule in the offseason. I thought this would be a huge game. I thought it would have been like the payback game. You know what I'm saying? For what happened in 2018, 2019. It would have been a payback for what happened. You know. But these teams have losing records, and there's just no hype about it. No hype. Because that's still players that are on the Saint that were on that team in 2018 that are still here. That's still with the Saints. Still with the Rams. Next, Nicole Roby Coleman. Bradley Nicole Roby Coleman, I think that's his name. But anyways, Alvin Kamara still with this team. Cam Jordan still on this team. Will Lutz, they're still a part of this team, man. They were there. Michael Thomas, they were there when this stuff happened. Ryan Ramchick, they were part of this team. They were there when that happened. You know, but there's no energy for this team. No energy, no excitement about this game. You know, I thought this would have been a game where Saints were, trying to position themselves to win the NFC South. They have a winning record, possibly playing for seeding in the playoffs, playing against the Rams. But that's not even happening. I felt like 12 o'clock. It was a 12 o'clock kickoff. Maybe the league could flex it, push it in the evening, 3 o'clock game, a 7 o'clock game. You know, but that's not even happening, man. Nobody's even focusing on this game other than the Saints fans, because the Rams, they really don't have no fan base, to be honest. They really don't. Since moving to LA, they just don't have it. But I'm just giving y'all just a little hypnosis of what's the situation with this football game. Just a little backdrop of a little backstory, the history between these teams. You know, the Rams this year, they've gotten off to a rough start this year, and I felt like during the offseason, during free agency, after the moves they made, that they could possibly repeat as Super Bowl champions, based on how their roster is built. They have Stafford. They lost Odell Beckham, but they signed Allen Robinson. You got Cooper Cup, last year's receiving champion. Tyler Higbee, the tight end. Cam Akers, he's coming back off an injury. They signed Bobby Wagner. They lose Von Miller, but they signed Bobby Wagner. I know that's two different type of linebackers, but they do two different type of things. But you get the point. They got Bobby Wagner. They still got Aaron Donald. They signed him to. I think they extended him to another deal, a new deal. They got Van Jefferson. Jalen Ramsey is still part of the team. But it has not worked out for the Rams, man. Where their biggest issue is that they lost Odell Beckham Jr. Odell Beckham Jr. having him on that team made a difference. Made a difference for the Rams. Now that they don't have him, it's a very Cooper Cup dependent type offense. You know what I'm saying? It's a Cooper Cup dependent offense. They can't run the football. O-line is bad. You know what I'm saying? They don't have a really good offensive line. And what hurt them big time as well. What else has hurt them is that they lost Andrew Whitworth, the veteran offensive tackle out of used to play with played at LSU, went to the bank, played for the Bengals, but they lost him. That was huge. Veteran leadership, and it hasn't clicked for the Rams. The Allen Robinson signing hasn't paid off yet for this team. So, and they got a ton of cap relief. They got not cap relief, but yeah, the player's name is who committed the no call. The no call was Nicole Roby Coleman. Nicole Roby Coleman. You know what I'm saying? But they got a ton of cap. They're gonna have a ton of cap issues, to be honest. But you'll never hear the national media. You never hear the national media can criticize them for what they do. They criticize their spending habits. They lost. You think you complaining, but the Saints don't have draft picks. The Rams give away a bunch of picks to build their roster. A bunch of picks for a short term for contending success. And with the way their roster is constructed, they might have to trade some assets. If they want to get those picks back, and start retooling that roster, retooling that roster. Because I've been hearing every now and then is that Sean McVay could step away from football and go into the commentator's booth. That's what I've been hearing. It's been hearsay every now and then they bring it up. Now, if you look at it, Sean McVay has like a similar career path as Sean Payton. Won a Super Bowl at a really young age. Hotshot head coach, the newest coach on the block. Got a Super Bowl contending roster, talented players. But the difference is Payton and the Saints didn't, give away picks. They draft capital to build a roster. That ain't the case with Sean Payton. But the Rams, man, it's just been a big disappointment, man. I mean, I really can't say it's injuries for them that the reason why they're struggling. They're just the players that they have that was supposed to work out are not working out for them. But as for the Saints, it's just been one hiccup after another, after another. Quarterback situation ain't what it's supposed to be. O line decimated now. I think 4 members of the offensive line is out. According to the recent injury report. Um, Michael Thomas out for the year for the third, no, for the second consecutive year, out for the season. Um, don't have a first round pick for now. Until Sean Payton, until that move for Sean Payton happens and they trade him to another team, they get a draft. They get a first round pick. The Saints do not have a first round pick. You know. Um, what else? You trade CD Deuce in the offseason, which has turned out to be a huge mistake. It's gonna turn out to be a stain on a blemish on Ricky Loomis's resume as a GM, as a great GM. That's gonna come back to hunt us. You know, that was a gut wrenching move that really hurt that defense. I'm just being real, man. You can tell now because that defense is a shell of its former self. And no team has really like attacked the Saints defense down the field deep throwing 40, 50-yard bombs. They nickel and dime it. Every chance they get, they nickel and dime Saints defense up and down the field. 7 to 10 play drives into the end zone. A huge prime example of that was the game against the Bengals, where Joe Burrow just marched up and down the field on that defense, up and down on it, touchdowns, while the Saints settled for field goals. You know, so it's just been a nightmare for both teams, man. Both teams are under 500 and could very well miss the playoffs. Rams could miss the playoffs, and the Saints could miss the playoffs. Who would have thought that at the beginning of the season? I didn't. I thought this game would be a game that could have been flexed into the evening or the nighttime. I thought it would have been a huge game with a huge storyline where the Saints come in with something to prove, a huge chip on their shoulder, and put the league on notice like they did in 2018 when they played the Rams, when the Rams were undefeated, and Michael Thomas cooked Marcus Peters for over 200 yards receiving. But that ain't that type of game. This is a game of survival and evaluation to play for what's left on the season. If there's any chance of getting back into the playoffs for the Rams and the Saints, it's the slim for both teams. But we'll see how everything plays out this week against when they face each other. Hopefully the Saints can get a dub and string together a few wins and finish the season on a positive note. Because I think, as I said in the previous video I made, it's time for Dennis Allen to start getting evaluated for 2023. He needs to be evaluated to see if he can correct this as the season go on. The season, is coming to a close. You got one more month left. You got November, rest of November, you got December to close it out. And we'll see how everything plays out, man. So that's that. There's that. Alright, that's all I have for y'all for right now, man. Give me a like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Let me know how you feel. How you feel about the Saints-Rams game now that it's not, the hype is pretty much going away for this game. There's no buzz for it as of lately. Also in the description box below, check out strike7sports.com/Saints for latest content on the Warren Saints organization. Have a blessed night. Peace. I'm out. Who that?